Today in this video, we'll be looking at what this prevent default actually is and why it is actually needed. Alright, so we'll start by looking at the most common case, and then we'll also look at some of the general cases as well where we need this e.preventDefault. Alright, so I'll go to the browser, and if you see here, there's nothing but just an input and a button. Right, now if you see here, there's a form, there's input, there's button. Alright, the most common case or the most common scenario where we should use e.preventDefault is inside the form when we are submitting the form. Alright, so when we normally submit the form, we will use action, right? But a lot of times we don't need action, but what we need is just a function, right, that'll take the details used inside of the form, like for example input, and then it'll call the API to submit the form details, right? So in this case we don't need action, right? So in this case we don't need to refresh the page. So normally if we are not using e.preventDefault, let's see what will happen. So if I submit the file, if I submit the form, it'll refresh the page, right? But if I use this e.preventDefault, it'll prevent the default behavior of the submit event and would not refresh the page. But still, its functionality is working. If you see here, I have used this handle submit function for onSubmit event handler, and inside this function I have used this console log and this one, right? And that is working, right? Here I've used as a dummy functionality, but generally what we do is we take the details from the form and then call an API to submit the form, right? So in this case we can use e.preventDefault so that our website will be more performant and the user experience would be more better, right? But this was about the common case scenario. We can use this e.preventDefault for any event, right? But this e.preventDefault is only applicable for the event which is cancelable. That's why I'm consoling log, I'm just logging this e.cancelable, right? Now if you see here the event, the submit event, if you see here, it's a on submit, that means it's a form event handler, right? So the event is form event that is cancelable, right? So you can check for any event, right? Now let's see another case where we can use this e.preventDefault. Let's say I also want to use this e.preventDefault in anchor tag and also on the input tag with type checkbox, right? Now if you see here, the function on click for this anchor tag is handle click, and for this input is handle checkbox click. Now if you see here, I've not used e.preventDefault for handle click and also for handle checkbox click. Now let's see what happens. So when I click on this link, it'll actually take me to the reference of this anchor, right? That's its default behavior. But when I use e.preventDefault, what it does is when I click on this, it won't take me to the reference, but still it'll invoke the function and it'll form the functionality in that function. Anchor element clicked, right? And let's also check for this checkbox. Sorry, first let me check without using this e.preventDefault. So when I click on this checkbox, it'll toggle the state of the checkbox, right? But when I use e.preventDefault on this checkbox, let's see what happens. Let me refresh the page first and then let's see. So when I'm clicking on this checkbox, it is not performing its default behavior, that's toggling the checkbox, but its functionality, or the function that I have used in this on click of this checkbox, is still working, right? But these are not the most common cases where you use e.preventDefault, but you can check it by yourself where it can be used, right? But the most common case is inside of the form and for on submit event handling, right? So that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful, and that's it. So I'll be coming with more tutorials about Next.js, reactjs, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and so many other things about front-end development. And until then, have a great day.